Hey, this is the Ministry of Horror, and this is our new show, Off the Shelf. This is where I take a film off of my ever increasing, decreasing, then increasing again, then decreasing, then increasing again, Blu-ray film collection. Take a film off the shelf, we have a little look at it, we look at the packaging, we look at the features of the film, we look at how good the transfer is, and discuss what I like about it and what I don't like about it. And for this very first episode, with the news coming that in the next few weeks, I believe, we have 28 years later The Bone Temple hitting cinemas, I wanted to give a watch of this Steelbook. I've got 4K Steelbook of 28 years later. It's a 4K edition, lovely Steelbook, got this from Amazon, and let's talk about it. So first things first, I will talk about the packaging. The packaging looks incredible. We have this skull image with, I guess, like the alphas drawing down from it. And I guess my first thing that I'd have to say for anyone watching this, if you're a Steelbook collector, what do you do with the card details that are on the back? I kind of always want to just take them off. Oh, there's the back of the Steelbook. I kind of always just want to take them off, but then I think, well, what do you do then? You don't just throw it away. Like, also resale value, were I to trade it in or whatnot or sell it, kind of should come with the whole thing. But anyway, I digress. It's a lovely Steelbook edition for the film. The film came out last year. Mixed reviews. Some people loved it, some people absolutely hated it. I remember my brother-in-law went to see it, very, very hyped, absolutely hated it. Me, on the other hand, really enjoyed it. It's 28 years later after the rage virus has ravaged the UK and went across to Europe, but it's now been contained into the UK, which has made the UK a bit of a quarantine zone. It follows Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Jodie Comer, we also have Ralph Fiennes, and Alfie Williams is really our star of this piece. As a film, I really enjoy it. It's heart-wrenching in places. There's a particular moment in the final half hour of the film that if it doesn't pull at the heartstrings, then you're not human. But it also is pretty crazy. I mean, there's a lot of gratuitous nudity in here with the alphas being a new kind of advancement of the rage virus. It's kind of like rage on steroids. They rip people's heads off and tear their spinal columns out. It's pretty violent. Also dick swinging all over the place. There is also some evolution we get here, not just with that, but also with what happens if a person is pregnant and is infected with the rage virus. Does it affect the child? That is looked into. And the most notable thing, I think, for this film, which is then leading into the Bone Temple, so at this point probably isn't a spoiler, is the Jimmy Gang. It's a insane way to end the film, but if you haven't seen the film but you have seen trailers for the Bone Temple, that's who we're following. They're introduced late on in the film. So with this release, first thing I want to talk about of the physical release is this is one of the better looking 4K Blu-rays. What can happen quite often is you get a real mixture of image and sound quality when it comes to 4K releases. So I'd probably say the outlier for me has been a lot of Warner Brothers releases. I've got a few of the Conjuring films on 4K. I've also got The Exorcist and The Exorcist Believer. I like it. I know a lot of people don't. Don't come at me. Where from an image standpoint, the HDR settings are just so dark. You end up having to go into for me, I ended up having to go into my TV settings, increase brightness to such an extent that you lose a bit of the fidelity. And you also get some 4K releases of films where you could honestly say, does that look better than just the general Blu-ray release? Questionably. This one does look incredible, and it looked incredible in the cinema, but the transfer to the 4K disc is exceptional. Also the audio as well. A modern complaint with, whether it be streaming or physical media releases, is that they're almost released on the assumption that you have a 7.1 surround sound setup. And we don't currently have the space for it in our living room. When we move, we'll probably look to expand on that. But we end up quite often having to mess around with the volume settings, set it to like adaptive settings, because you'll get it where you have such loud blasts of music and then the dialogue is really quiet, so you're constantly volume up, volume down. With this though, no such issues. It sounds great and it looks exceptional throughout. It's quite a nice contrast to 28 Days Later, which at the point of that being filmed was filmed with domestic video cameras, digital video cameras, and as such looks very aged today. That's part of the style that they went for at that time, but it has made it, when you watch it now, it does look very, very dated from that aspect. That does lead me on nicely to the special features for this. There's a number of special features, and they do talk about the camera use. It's really in depth, so if you're a bit of a cinema nerd, a tech head, into your cameras, there's a lot to get out of this disc. Behind the cameras does talk about how a lot of smartphones were used, the purpose being that they basically created this like 180 degree 3D imaging almost, where they had a whole rack of cameras set up with these adaptive lenses. They even use like telescopic lenses on iPhones, iPhone 15 Maxes. Very, very experimental filmmaking that they went with there. Becoming the Infected talks about the actors who are having the prosthetics set up to look like the various stages of infected. Also, a lot of drones were used in this film for a lot of the crazy action shots they went with, including the bus scene where Samson, the alpha, is pursuing Spike and his mother. That's with a drone. Incredible. Yeah, also how they went with the various effects. There's Days to Years is a great feature which talks about how they made the bone temple. That was all done practically. It was like hundreds of thousands of practically individually made bones. I think it's like 500-600 or so, probably more. Skulls made for the actual centerpiece. It's very, very interesting. And the good thing is all these special features, 5 to 7 minutes long, so you can just dip in and out. I do quite often get these limited editions, collector's editions, and then don't watch the special features. I know, terrible. But I'm making sure with this series to actually do that. In terms of my verdict as a collector, is this one that you should get? Well, that first off comes down to whether you're a fan of the film or indeed the series. If you're not, why are you going to buy a collector's edition? But if you are, it's definitely well worth it. Not just for the fact that the packaging is really cool, it sits nicely on your shelf with this real kind of steel mesh image to it, but also just the actual film transfer looks incredible. Even the special features on the Blu-ray disc, special features aren't on the 4K disc, so you have got a 4K disc and a Blu-ray. They look just as good. Like the image quality, I'd be quite interested to at some point watch the film on the Blu-ray disc versus the 4K disc and see really how much fidelity, image quality is improved between the two, because the special features alone do look excellent on the Blu-ray disc. I would definitely have to say that this is a must-buy, and it sits nicely on my shelf. Which, speaking of the shelf, we have a number of Arrow releases, a number of Second Sight releases, along with a number of Steelbook 4Ks, regular Steelbook Blu-rays, tons of other ones. I'm going to be looking at some of the various box set releases on future episodes, along with some more niche entries here. If there's anything you've seen, maybe in the little social media posts, or a particular title that your eagle-eyed viewers may be able to catch out now, let me know in the comments and we will look at it on a future video. Also, be sure to check out my various social channels. Link is in the bio. I'll also link it into the comments, where all the various socials are there, along with some of the films that I like that you can click on links for and get a good deal on. Anyway, I'll catch you next time.